All right, what's up, guys? In this video, we're going to be talking about supply and demand and the difference between weak and strong hands. It is key to understand the difference between strong hands and weak hands. It is very key to understand that because that will shape up your entire analysis and the way you're going to trade a certain pair or a certain market. Okay, so we're going to jump right into it. Looking at EU right now. Okay, so essentially, I want to start off right here where we had our recent most supply area. Okay, so before I even get into that, right, let me go ahead and give you an overall view of what EU is doing. EU is bearish. Okay, you can see we have sellers completely took over this market. Ever since we had this higher time frame distribution here, we just have had a lot of redistributions to the downside. All right, now it's key that we understand that because that's telling us that sellers are in control of this market. So I'm going to be contrasting sellers and buyers so you can understand the difference between the weak and strong hands, right? So now zooming into here, right, we see that this latest area right here of supply has recently got invalidated. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, who's in control of the market? Is sellers in control of the market or are buyers in control of the market? Sellers are in control of the market. You can see that we have this main supply area, we have another supply area, and then we had this recent supply area here. Okay, but the thing is, what is the strong supply area? What is the weak supply area? This is the strong supply area. So this area is the most recent strong area that sellers were present inside of the market. Okay, it is very key to understand that because this right here is the cause of these two areas. Now, it doesn't mean that these two areas are not strong, right? But once we see some type of buyers get into the market, right, it's going to be more easier for us to invalidate these areas here. Because essentially, as the market continues to go down, it's going to get to a point where sellers are not going to get interested in selling the market anymore. Okay, it happens with everything. Once something gets to the point where it's too high or it's too low, as you know, buy low, sell high, right? So essentially, that's the same concept. Buy low, sell high, or sell high here. Okay, essentially, these are all just redistributions. Okay, they're all redistributions. So as the market continue to move down, the market is going to continue to redistribute. But inside of those redistributions, we don't know what the volume of sellers are. Okay, so you can understand as the market continues to make this down move, the volume of sellers are going to continuously decrease because as the market goes lower, the interest for sellers are going to decrease as well. Okay, so that's exactly what is going on with Euro USD. All right, the interest for sellers was high up here, but as the market continuously went down, you see we have some type of sellers getting in, market goes down, some types of sellers getting in, but you can see the legs change, right? Look, from this area here, you can see we have this huge push to the downside. Well, let's go inside and let's look at this recent supply. All right, this recent supply here, you can see after this was made, we have a huge move towards the downside. All right, let's look at this one, right? This recent supply that was made here, you can see this is significantly less than these two were. So to be honest, this right here was the weakest out of all of these supply zones. So since this supply zone got invalidated, our next area to sell from is going to be this supply zone. If this gets invalidated, then we're going to target this supply zone. So that is why we're still selling as the market is going up, because sellers are still in control of the market. Okay, we haven't taken out the strong sellers in the market. So now, as this market is continuing higher, that gives me opportunity to trade these demand zones. Why? Because these demand zones here were able to invalidate this supply zone. Because of that, once the market retraces, if it retraces back to these demand zones, I am able to catch a trade here and lead me back into this supply zone because I know this is what we're targeting. All right, I know this is what we're targeting. So now I have a valid target. I have a reasoning for the target. Right now, looking at USDCHF, you can tell that buyers got a hold of the market here. This is a strong demand area, right? This whole area here is a strong demand area. Now, this area is the cause, right? What is it the cause of? It is the cause of this move. Well, if I go ahead and zoom in inside of this entire move towards the upside, you're going to see that there are just reaccumulations after reaccumulations after reaccumulation towards the upside, right? Now, as the market is going up, there is no problem with trading these reaccumulations as long as you know what you're targeting. Well, how do you know what you're targeting? You go on higher time frame to determine where is your strong supply zone. Where is that strong supply zone that the market is going for? You can see I have this line right here, and if I go on a higher time frame, now I am on the daily time frame, and on the daily time frame, what do you see? You see this huge supply zone right here, this huge distribution. Out of this distribution, this is the UTAD, right? This is the UTAD. I marked out the 50% of the UTAD, and you can see exactly where the market hit. Exactly there, to the T. Okay, so essentially what happened after we tapped into that supply zone? What happened was we invalidated every single reaccumulation so far. And we're gonna keep invalidating every single reaccumulation that was formed here. Why? Because this supply zone up here is a greater cause than these small reaccumulations. Essentially, these small reaccumulations are not a big enough cause to turn the market over. Where is the market targeting now? Well, it's only targeting one place, which is down back here inside of this entire demand zone. Right now, I don't have the exact place that is going to come to, but I know it's coming into here for sure, because this is the last area that the markets took over to create this huge move towards the upside, right? So essentially what happened here was here buyers took over the market. So we have demand, we have strong demand, we have strong buyers here. And then after that, we have reaccumulations, right? All of these reaccumulations are continuations to the upside, which means buyers are still in control of the market, right? Now, once we tapped into this higher supply zone, to this strong supply zone, what happened? We have the changing of hands, okay? The changing of hands, we go from buyers into sellers. You can see that just by how the market is doing this. So essentially we had reaccumulations going up. Now look what we have going down, redistributions. These redistributions are telling us that sellers are not in control of the market. So now we see how the market has changed hands and who's in control of the market. So your job is to play with who's in control of the market, right? But doing so, you want to understand, where are these sellers targeting? These sellers are targeting here. Moving on to one more pair that we can cover is CAD CHF. All right. Looking at CAD CHF, you can see it's like the same thing with USD CHF. Higher time frame, we reached a supply zone. So on higher time frame, we reached a supply zone up here, major supply zone. Now we can see this market is completely going towards the downside, right? We have invalidated this recent demand here. We have invalidated this demand. Now, the only two areas that I see that could withstand this supply zone for now is this huge reaccumulation and this area. This area essentially, because this is where we had all this accumulation. There was like 3 or 4 accumulations down here, which tells me that a lot of buyers got into the market here. So most likely than not, if we don't hold the market here, we're probably going to come down here. So these are 2 areas for you to target, right? If the market does not withstand itself here and continue back towards the upside, we're most likely going to redistribute and go down and target this. That gives you so much leeway, because if you understand who's in control of the market, you know how to play it. You know whether you want to buy, you know whether you want to sell, and that allows you to spot fake moves. Okay, so suddenly if you see the market come down here, let's say we break this zone and then the market starts accumulating. Why are we accumulating here? Essentially, we are in no man's land. This little area is not going to hold us. Understand that this is a weak demand zone. Okay, so this compared to this supply, it's weak. All right, I want you guys to understand that. Now, as the market was in a buyer's market, you could consider this a valid area to buy from. But now that we have reached our higher time frame area and we've reached a strong supply, compared to this strong supply, this is a weak. All right, that is what you guys want to understand on this. So looking at this, if we have an accumulation here that just comes out of nowhere and the market starts moving up, you can anticipate that this is going to be a fake move. okay? Because this is not strong enough to hold this strong supply. This I can see doing that, but here I don't see that, right? That's just not gonna happen, okay? So that's how I usually spot fake moves most of the time. So I just want you guys to understand that this could help you greatly when it comes to analyzing your markets and trying to figure out which side of the market to be on, whether you want to be a buyer, whether you want to be a seller. Well, first you have to analyze who's in control of the market and where is that controller targeting, right? If sellers are in control, where are they targeting? If buyers are in control, where are they targeting? Okay, this gives you a more advanced outlook on supply and demand, okay? And it tells you how to not get faked out by these areas, because I see it all the time where people are taking trades from these areas and they're getting stopped out, right? As soon as I seen that this first area failed, I knew that all of this was just not gonna happen. I knew we were gonna come back to these main areas where buyers got into the market. All right, so that's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you want more in depth on this concepts, then you can join our mentorship. You can join our academy in the link in the description. I believe it's the first link, right? So you can check that out if you're interested. And that is pretty much it. That's all I really have to say. If you guys have any video suggestions, if you have any video ideas or any things that you want me to cover, let me know and I will try my best to get that out for you guys. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.